black people that got a problem with Mexican and I feel like they racist. You know what I'm talking about? Let me tell you why. Cause first of all, I ain't never had no problem. Nobody tell me, oh, white, only on social media, like that ain't from around here. And then, you know what I'm saying? When Mexican, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, me, we ain't never said, and explain 1,000 times. They be like, oh, I grew up with black people and that's why I say it. But I ain't even gonna give that example or that side today. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all done heard that before. Like every Mexican that's, oh, well, I grew up in the hood, so that's why I say it. We're not gonna talk about that because that already been talked about. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say, since I remember, I've been saying, you know what I'm talking about? My big brother say, you know what I'm saying? Everybody says that's my favorite word, literally. Like I say everything. I'm gonna say 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? When I say, I don't say to be racist or whatever to anybody. To me, it's like way or Migo. You know what I'm talking about? But like that's my brother. That's my friend. That's my whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Or is, you know what I'm talking about? That's just part of my vocabulary. That's how I talk. You know what I'm talking about? I feel like that say, oh, why, don't be saying this and that have a problem with it. And the reason why I say it's racist because you see whenever them like the when they start saying like, oh, why you saying I ain't calling you or they'll be like, I'm gonna say in the comments on Instagram. You be seeing that start saying, but like them that got a problem with Mexican saying that, them really be racist. You know what I'm talking about? Towards Mexicans or white people or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? And they start throwing that shit out there like that or whatever. But as far as like other people like, that ain't black ain't racist, I ain't never heard them that they got a problem with it. Nobody. Matter of fact, nobody got a problem with that shit. I ain't never met a got a problem with it. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't never used it as a way to try to what's the name? I don't know if motherfuckers just stuck in back in the day or whatever, but today, 2025, really the last 10, 15 years that I remember just a regular word. It's part of everybody's vocabulary. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, hey man, say man, kid that did Sauce Walka. I did an interview last night. Shout out to my boy. There's a project. He'll be dropping soon. The subject in hand, Mexican OT. See now, at first when I was speaking on what I was speaking on, I was only talking about the I seen on SEIJIHITO with the girl and all that on SEIJIHITO. My bro Denzel showed me the interview and showed me exactly verbatim what Mexican OT said on the interview on the podcast with all the women. Hey, bitch, you wrong. I'm gonna tell you why you wrong, little bro. I'm gonna tell you why you wrong, OT. And you got a black brother. That's what you partially was finna get into it, but you didn't want to get into it. Know what I'm saying? You got a whole 50% black brother and it's mixed and real and that's your brother, so you should feel 100%. He should feel what I'm saying. What about this part? I ain't with you about saying, can you say nigga because you grew up with us, went through all this shit with us, you love us, you nigga, you been through everything that been through, so that's why you feel you say you can say. The problem and the issue is the fact when you said in a room full of women, is there any blackness in here? Is there any in here? Well, if it is, what you gonna do about it? That's where you up at, brother. That's where the disrespect is. Because, you know, if you was in a room full of violence, from Houston full of violence like myself, TSF, any niggas really from the H like that, and we was having that conversation and you said it in that way. Y'all said, because who's going to do about it? There have been 6 in a room raising their hands saying they want to fight you. You know that. You know how this get down in Houston. You a Texas Crip. If I come up to you and say, Mexican OT, you ain't no Crip. And what you gonna do about it? You gonna want to fight about that? This little room gonna say, who ain't what squabble? And that's where the disrespect and the third part is, OT. Because at the end of the day, you know there's nothing but women in that room. There's a bunch of girls in that room. It was a now violent street that come from where you come from and been through what you've been through, or that's from somewhere else that's gonna disagree with you and with that statement to the point to where they'll fight you about that or they'll do something about that. So therefore, that's what people in the general public gonna take it. That's host because you're doing something in a setting where people gonna consider it where it's safe to say that right then and right there. Would you possibly say that around a room full of a bunch?
I don't want to muck anyone's style or infringe on anyone's creative expression, but what is you other nationalities' obsession with saying the word nigga? And you see how when I said it, you wasn't like, oh, that's weird that he said that. Or hey, you shouldn't be saying that because I'm one of us. I happens to be a nigga. Great-grandparents, not black. Grandparents, not black. Parents, not black. You, not black, but this deep in you. This is just tied to your identity and your spirit, and you just can't let the N-word go. Y'all say it to each other. Y'all put it in all y'all songs while we can't say it. When's the last time you watched your favorite team win a championship, went to the parade, and got on the bus with the team? Y'all need to stop saying it to each other if y'all want other people to stop saying it. Earlier this year, the entire country watched that group of dock workers on the East Coast shut the ports down and demand a raise for the entire union and got it. You see how you didn't get a raise with them? You see how that group of people did something for their group of people? It's so confusing because white people, what happened to like Bucko and Pal? I haven't heard a Mexican say vato in years. They don't even know what way is. I have no clue what Oriental people say, but I know it's not nigga. I'm from California. I'm from New York. I'm from Texas. Were you black there? Are you now a Mexican, but you were black back home? Are you like one of those trans Mexicans? You watch a video, 15 different people in the video, not one black person, you done heard nigga 30 times. What the do y'all call each other? When y'all are around each other and y'all don't use names, is nigga next on the list? Every nationality on the planet has at least one rapper. Did y'all not create your own words before y'all started? Did nobody from y'all country say, before we get in the game, let's make our own N-word? These different think pieces on black people don't have a right to tell y'all what to say, and you gonna say what you want, and you gonna fight for your right to say the N-word. You gonna be fighting for something. It might not be no rights, but you gonna be fighting for something.
All right, so we were able to see the full video, right? So we got Sauce Walka. That was another guy, that rapper that I brought up previously in another video, of which decided that he was in full 100% agreement with Mexican OT being able to say the N-word, but then he walked it back just halfway when he found out the full totality of the video. And this is when he gave the response, basically stating that, yo, he's 100% in the wrong. You know, it's not even so much about him being able to say it, it's the way that he went about it. Because if he was in a room full of actual dudes that's 10 toes down, that's really about that life, he wouldn't have said that. More than likely, that is true. He wouldn't have done it. He felt comfortable doing that in a room full of immigrants. And again, he went back in the video. He was like, yo, I wish there was a black dude, you know, in here to sit up there and say, you know, to try to prove this point. But why don't you go to these areas, to the hardest hoods directly out here, and you say this in front of hood dudes who ain't about that life of other people, going out there and saying this word to black Americans? If you are different from them, they're going to sit up there and check you on it real quick. He's not going to do that. Like I said, people are quick to do this wherever it is that they live, because they know that those people there ain't going to check them. Let's just, wherever Mexican OT is, he knows that the black people there ain't going to sit up there and check them. So this is why outside of these states where everybody doesn't have this camaraderie and this friendship, and you don't see a lot of this nonsense. You don't see them online saying this. They're not doing this. And if they are doing it, they're doing it in the safety of their own home. They're not out there amongst black people. They're not going to these all black gatherings, black parties, and saying this in public, that I could sit up there and say this and ain't nobody going to check them and yada. They ain't doing that because they ain't stupid. They're not doing it because they're not stupid. Like I said, this is 2025. This is why I love this so much, because it's not up for debate. If this was like the early 2000s or whatnot, then people might be able to make a stance like, oh, y'all don't really this, that, and that. Nah, we actually know how people are sitting up here moving. Again, this guy decided, and I made sure to count, he said this 40 times. I'm black all day long. I'm not out here sitting up here within one sitting, the 2-minute span, just sitting up here, just what? Like, what are you doing? This is like some type of a kid that just found out how to cuss. That's all I'm reading with this. That's all I'm reading with this. And then it's like he's trying to say it so much that he's trying to convey and make himself believe the lie that he's telling, that this is just something that he was born with. It, like, maybe it's Maybelline. Like, this is just something that was just within him. This is something that just his family and that. Like, this is what I be talking about. And the only thing that I can do is blame the black folks out there who are around these people who are friends with these people, who make it okay for them to do this. Y'all be sitting up here giving people cars to the cookout. Y'all be giving them black cars, whatever it is that y'all want to sit up there and call it, and y'all think that is cool. A lot of people in our generation didn't do that. This newer generation, they just out here just doing whatever. And it shows. It 100% shows. And the younger generation, seemingly, it's like they just don't sit up there and care because everybody is everybody. Okay. And inevitably, like I keep saying, what's going to happen, what's going to transpire is that things are going to hit the fan, and those same people that you consider your dog, your family, your this, your that, you're going to really see what team they playing on. You're going to really see what team that they are playing on. Because like I said, a lot of these young folks directly out here, they're not even understanding of the conversations that are even being had within those households. You got a lot of Hispanics out here that specifically stated that their parents, their families tell them not to be friends with black people. Don't be bringing, none of that black nonsense, around them. Don't be talking like that and all this other type of stuff and yada, yada, yada. Don't be dating no black guy. Don't be dating no black girl. They be saying all of this stuff. And these are the same groups. These are the same people that y'all want to give a pass to do whatnot or whatever because you think that they like you. You think that y'all have similarities historically, and you don't. You don't. Like, it's the craziest thing to watch videos like this and to know the fact that this dude has black friends directly out there that okay this type of nonsense. And I just want to be cut and clear. We're not talking about the average everyday black guy. We're not talking about the black nerds or blurred, whatever they want to sit up to, whatever terminology people want to sit up there and call it. We're not talking about the black gamers, out here. We're talking about these are the people in the hood that okay this type of nonsense. This is where all of this is stemming and coming directly from. Because like I said before, never at any point in time in my life have I sat up there and gave any type of an okay or agreed with anybody that is non-black saints. I've never agreed with it. Also, I want to also extend that directly to the immigrants. Never at any point in time. Never at any point in time. Because it's only going to go one way. As stated before, just like he was sitting up here saying, he was like, oh, and this is the to show you how racist the blacks really are, when they want to get online and they want to start using this terminology and that terminology because I'm sitting up there saying this, that, and the third. What they're trying to convey to you is that obviously you don't like us saying these words, correct? And we're telling you countless times, a multitude of different ways. We're being as cordial as possible, as nice as possible. Trying to tell you like, hey, we don't really agree with you saying this. We understand that you got black friends and all this other type of stuff. But yo, respectfully, just don't say it. And he didn't want to pay attention. So people are like, okay, fine. So let's sit up there and see these words. How do you feel when we sit up here and say this? Now he want to sit up there and say that black people are racist. In return, black people are saying that you're racist for not listening, basically. You want to do whatever it is that you want to sit up there and do. You feel that you got full on right to sit up there and do it. And like I said, so be it. For all of these individuals out there, you know what? There is a such thing as freedom of speech. And there's also such thing as consequences. And what it inevitably ends up happening is that the moment in time that you keep disrespecting a group of people that tell you not to do something a variety of different ways, and they're not even trying to put hands, they're trying to be cordial and have conversations with you, and you want to ignore it and you want to justify your actions, inevitably you're going to have to deal with the consequences. So somehow, some way, all of these fools out here are going to have to deal with consequences. It is what it is. It is what it is. And I like I said, I keep trying to tell people, and I keep trying to tell a lot of black Americans out here, there are so many videos out here to show you the different groups. I don't care if they're Asian. I don't care if they're Indian. I don't care if they're Latin Mexican. I don't care if they're European, white American, whatever. There's races of every group of people out here being disrespectful to black people after we tell them not to do something because we feel a way about it. And we're explaining this to them a variety of different ways. We can even give historical context. And everybody's like, we don't care what you say. We're still going to sit up there and say it because we want to sit up there and say it. Said before, let it all burn. Let everything fall down. Let everything fall down, let it all burn, because don't nobody want to pay attention, don't nobody want to listen. So let everything happen. Again, this is another clear-cut example of why it is that Black Americans don't care nothing about what's taking place when it deals with ICE. This is why we're sitting back and we're sitting down, we're standing down. This is exactly why, because y'all don't want to listen, y'all don't want to pay attention. Y'all want to puff up your chest and y'all want to say that y'all can do this, that, and the third, regardless on how we are trying to convey to you that we don't want you to do it. It's crazy work. Like I said, let it all fall. Let it all happen. Let it all happen. Let it all keep happening up until people get to the point of realization that maybe you should listen to people when they tell you what not to do or to how to go about things. In the last video, you know, technically I don't even got to say nothing because he hit every single point. Everything that he said made 100% sense. Even the examples that he gave, because nobody can convey to me why it is that a lot of these immigrants, a lot of these other people that are non-Black American want to say this so badly. Y'all got all y'all other words that y'all were saying in order to describe yourselves, in order to talk to, you know, one another. But this is what y'all want to sit up here and do, right? I'll peel it back real quick, right? There was a point in time that before this became so heavy, you had a lot of people saying, you know, my brother and all this other type of stuff, right? And you had Black people telling other people like, yo, don't call me your brother because we're not brothers. Like we are not the same. You had white dudes trying to sit up there and do it. We told you what not to do. Don't call me your brother because we're not. You also had other people that were outside of that tried to do the exact same thing. Black people kindly told them stop doing it because we're not brothers. Like we're just not, we're not on the same page. We don't believe in the same things. Yada yada. Again, as cordial as possible, respectfully. And you know what everybody kept doing? They kept using the word. Color me surprised. Color me surprised. So when we had a substitute for the N-word, and you know we had Black men out here calling each other kings, right? Kings, or maybe it was like a prince or God or whatnot. We had a variety of words. You know what the whole world sat up there and started doing, including the Africans and the Hispanics? They were like, y'all not gods, y'all not kings. What did y'all build? What is your culture? What is your civilization? You guys are fake African. You guys are this and that and all that. We're not. I'm not about to call you a king. I'm not going to sit up there and call you a god. I'm not going to call you this. I'm not going to call you that. So, like I said before, we've had different words that literally were out here, that were out and about for some years, that Black men were referring to one another. And you know what people opted not to do? They didn't want to use those words. These same Latins out here, they wasn't trying to call a Black man a king or a god, because they understand that when you have such words like that, it speaks a certain type of way. And them not wanting to use that, even though you tell them like, hey, you know, you can refer to me like as a king or god or whatnot or whatever. They don't want to do that because that's not how they see you. They're fine with using the N-word because, you know, they feel that it brings you down to level, right? They still feel that they are above you, which is why they're indignant in everything that they say online. But it's like, I'm going to use it with it. What, nobody Black is going to check me or say nothing about it, right? Because they feel that they are above Black people. They are above reproach, and that Black people can't tell them what to do. Black people can't say anything directly to them. Black people are not going to sit up there and check them because they feel that they are higher than. So this is why they're going to use that word instead of trying to use any other word. They're not trying to use brother. They're not trying to use king. They're not trying to use God or anything like that. So, or whatnot or whatever. Right? They're not trying to do any of those words, even though we have specifically shown people words that we use amongst each other that anybody is free to use and call us. And we will also extend that exact same hand and say it directly to you. Like if I sit up there and see somebody else, like let's say it was an African dude out there and he was like, yo, what's up, King? How you doing? Hey, King, I see you. Right? No problem. Respect given. No problem. Beautiful thing. I would have no problem with that. But do you think that people who are African or Caribbean want to extend that, that type of respect or value? No. Like I said, and this also further shows you how a lot of these other people who are not Black American have been conditioned in order to see Black Americans. I've already had fields of people directly in my comment section under a multitude of videos. I probably got over like 10, 15 videos that I've done like this. And everybody gives the same excuse. Be like, oh, well, maybe if black people stop using it, then everybody else will stop using it. No, because when black people weren't calling themselves this, I'm talking about in droves. I'm talking about across the United States. We can go back to the 20s, 30s, and 40s, right? When black people weren't saying this. And you know what black people were still getting called by everybody else? Exactly. So like I said, miss me with that. And the craziest part is I know a lot of these people are older than me. They got history in every single footstep, but yet you're dumb enough to get online and sit up there and say, well, maybe if black people stop saying it, then maybe. No, because even when let's go back to Toulouse, when black people respected themselves, they value the family. They were, you know, fully into the Bible. They were raising up the land, the schools, and they were feeding their own. What respect were black people given and shown? I'll wait. What respect was black people given and shown by those in the United States? Zero. None. Back during the 80s when you know, the move bombing happened, what respect were black people being given shown? Nothing. When the Black Panther Party was destroyed from the inside out by way of the government, what respect were black people given and shown? Nothing. When the lady in red, what was it, J. Edgar, was monitoring any and all black groups or personnel that were, you know, within or around the movement, they were tapping phone lines and all this other type of stuff. What respect was black people given, even though black people were giving everybody else respect? None. Like I said, we can go through history, and at no point in time were black people shown respect, no matter how it is that they acted. No matter how it is that they treated one another, they were never shown respect. Everybody will always try to find some type of reasoning as to why it is that they can decide that they specifically want to disrespect black people. They will always find, you know, some type of justification every time. It never fails. It never fails. And it's crazy work out here, 100%. And it's going to keep being this way. But like I said before, let it all fall. Let it all fall. Everybody want to be disrespectful. Nobody wants to sit up there and listen and all this other stuff. Like I said, I done had a variety of folks of a variety of different races. Never at any point in time would I ever come out there outside of my mouth and speak disrespectfully about them. I done heard people use terminology. I'm like, oh, they really talk like they really say that to one another. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I'm like, wow, I would never say something like that. And like I said, I done heard stuff like this even from Hispanics. I would never sit up there and repeat back what they said up there and said to one of them. I'm not going to do that. I respect them enough. But like I said, the same respect and value that I have for other people, it's not the exact same. And like I said, it shows online. So like I said, to all of those black individuals, I can't sit up there and call y'all black Americans because a lot of y'all ain't. A lot of y'all ain't. Y'all ain't from the same bloodline. A lot of y'all, you know, black masquerading types that are out here that got these bleeding hearts and whatnot or whatever, y'all just as disrespectful, if not more than them. Being real. Because we tell y'all too what to sit up there and say and what not to say, and y'all still don't want to listen. But at the end of the day, a lot of these black immigrants, migrants, or whatnot, or whatever, they run from their homelands, and they would never have this exact same energy when it deals with the Europeans, the whites. They would never have this exact same energy with the British crown. They would never have that energy. Never had that energy. Like I said, the moment in time that I happen to do another video, I'm going to make sure to highlight and put the video up there of the African or whatever woman crawling on her knees, skipping across. It was almost like she was a silver surfer on her knees, going directly over to Prince Charles and resting her head directly on his waist. That by itself spoke volumes. That spoke volumes by itself. But, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, I'll leave that, you know, where it is. But, you know, like I said, y'all will never have this exact same energy. This is why a lot of y'all right now are still mourning the queen, which is crazy. Diabolical word. It's still mourning. At no point in time have you seen black Americans up here crying and mourning presidency of the United States going off into the ethos. And no, but you know, like I said, everybody different, everybody built differently. So it'd be like that. But anyways, let me know what y'all think about this video and everything I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.